It is 8:37, a total solar eclipse coming to the U.S. this summer, and people here in the mid-state will have the perfect view for this historic event.
You know, so many people already have made their plans for this total solar eclipse. In fact, the mid-state, one of the largest spots in the U.S. to see it in its totality. We are in a prime location. Visitors coming here from across the country to enjoy that view.
You ain't telling me shit.
Are you serious? All right, August the 21st, 2017. Is this doomsday eclipse? Is this the doomsday eclipse? Now, hold on. Look, it's a total eclipse of the heart. No, I mean of the sun. It's going to happen. August 21st, 2017. It will be the first time in 40 years, or 4 decades anyway, since a total eclipse of the sun will be perfectly going across the United States of America. Some people are wondering, is there some type of prophetic revelation that this sign is bringing for America, specifically for America? Is God sending us? Is there such a time as this? Will that eclipse have something prophetically to do with our nation?
We are living in the most important time in our history. You know, I thought I'd go on the internet and see what many of my black people are saying about this. You know, not just the solar eclipse, but see what they're talking about as far as the end times as a whole. Now, of course, as far as the eclipse is concerned, you know, a lot of my brothers and sisters are talking about, you know, this moon or the shadow going from west to east. And it's confusing a lot of people. But, you know, it's a lot of my people, they are concerned about the end times, what's going on. And the solar eclipse that's coming up is definitely a sign. You know, one of my brothers who's obviously concerned about what's going on is my brother on YouTube channel, Rap the News.
Oh boy, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, it's not looking good, folks. It looks like this might be it, you know. I'm just talking about with this eclipse, this earthquake, this whole thing. This just might be it.
He's certainly not the only one, but a lot of my people, they're just not concerned about the end times. I guess they have more important things to be concerned about other than being saved.
I'm more disappointed than angry. I'm more disappointed than angry. You know, we've been looking forward to this day.
Customers at the drive-thru heard this recorded message.
Sorry for the inconvenience, but we are all out of chicken and we are closed for the rest of the day. Thank you and have a blessed day.
One woman yelled back at the machine.
People have kids that they trying to feed for the special, and you mean to tell me that we can't feed our kids? Because y'all didn't order enough chicken. Y'all knew y'all was having this special almost 2 months ago.
You kidding me?
I think that's bad because I'm sure hungry.
Yeah. I guess they'll get it all straightened out sooner or later. Yeah, all right.
On the horizon in Central Oregon, there will be madness in Madras.
There we go. Step over.
Christina Carpenter is getting the farm ready for a festival. On August 21st, the solar eclipse will drop darkness over her fields. 400 spectators paying a premium, some $1,500 a couple, to camp on her 80 acres.
It's definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that was handed to this tiny little community. We'll be serving people farm to feast style right in the fields where we're growing the food. I'm really excited.
This town of 6,000 bracing for 100,000 visitors. Liquor sales are booming. Legal pot sales could hit an all-time high. Legal pot sales could hit an all-time high.
We've been planning for all these years to be ready for the big, great American eclipse.
John Brewster has been planning for decades, even building his home in the path of the eclipse.
All of this work for 2 minutes. I'm like, yes, of course.
As the moon passes in front of the sun, a ribbon of darkness, 70 miles wide, known as the Path of Totality, will move from Oregon to South Carolina, taking just under 2 hours. As the moon passes in front of the sun, a ribbon of darkness, 70 miles wide, known as the Path of Totality, will move from Oregon to South Carolina, taking just under 2 hours.
NASA's very excited about the eclipse, very excited, if we bring up my next graphic, about helping you get information that you want. So we have a series of websites we've put together that show NOAA's data, not NASA, NOAA's data. And of course, our NCEI data sites is other things. We hope you have clear skies. We hope the weather's great. We hope you have great viewing of the eclipse. We're excited about it. And I know that many of you will be traveling to try to find locations where you can best view the event. And many of those will be in the national park. So I'll hand it over to Brian to talk about the national parks.
Thank you, Vanessa. Yes, the Eclipse is a very significant event for the National Park Service, and we hope many of you will come and enjoy it in your national parks. It's a special day for everyone. As a couple of experiences have been shared, this is your opportunity to create your experience related to the eclipse so that you can hopefully one day perhaps share it with your family or even your grandkids. So where can you see it in the national parks? Well, it just so happens that 20 of the national parks are exactly in the area of totality, and 9 of the national trails bisect the path as well. Going from west to east, the first park that will experience the eclipse in totality is John Day Fossil Beds, and it'll wrap up several hours later at Fort Sumter in South Carolina.
So why didn't I flinch? because the laws of science differ fundamentally from those of...
They've been talking down new sources of energy. They dismiss wind power. They dismiss solar power. They make jokes about biofuels. They were against raising fuel standards. I guess they like gas guzzlers. They think that's good for our future. We're trying to move towards the future. They want to be stuck in the past. And we've heard this kind of thinking before. Let me tell you something. If some of these folks were around when Columbus set sail, they must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round.
If I say that the world is round and someone else says it's flat, that's worth reporting. But you might also want to report on a bunch of scientific evidence that seems to support the notion that the world is round.
All right, I'm going to call on these young men, just one of you. All right? And remember what I made a promise to you, but that means also I want you to give the mic back after you ask your question or make your comment. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So my question is, in the face of the numerous attacks that are made against the African community or the black community by the same U.S. government that you aspire to lead, why is it that you have not had the ability to not one time speak to the interests and even speak on behalf of the oppressed and exploited African community or black community in this country?
All right, all right. Well, I guess.
I love being called the first black president.
It's time to ask the question, why?
Hello, I'm Chelsea Dream of Eyewitness News, bringing you a live report from the scene of a crime. Can anyone tell me what they know?
I'm an investigating officer, and I was the first one on the scene. I can tell you what we have assessed thus far.
I'm an expert criminologist with a doctorate in psychology, and I can assess the situation.
Oh, yeah, but check this. I seen the whole thing, right? I seen the whole thing. I can tell you what went down.
Good. Stop!
Why do reporters always choose the most unintelligent, uninformed black eyewitness? Why?
Walk me through again what happened this afternoon. You heard screaming.
Heard screaming. I'm eating my McDonald's.
And like I say, my neighbor, you got some big testicles to pull this off, bro. Because we see this dude every day.
And you had no indication that there was anything
Hey, bro, not a clue. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's nothing exciting about him. Well, until the day. I knew something was wrong when a little pretty white girl ran into a black man's arms. Something is wrong here. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Charles, thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
Thank you very much for your time. And
either she homeless or she got problems. That's the only reason why she run to a black man.
Charles, thank you for being there, man. Charles Ramsey, neighbor, heard the screaming.
Having seen hundreds of rocket firings when I was employed by Rocketdyne, I know that the jet of the lunar module lander, the lunar lander, would have created an enormous crater. It would have scoured the moon's surface. It would have tossed up rocks, sand, everything, and created a crater maybe so large that the entire lunar lander could have sunk into it. After all, we're dealing with a 10,000-pound thrust engine, which is pointed directly at the surface, lowered into the surface, and yet, if you look at pictures of the lunar lander on the moon, there is no disturbance whatsoever under the lunar lander's rocket. Here's Neil Armstrong talking about landing on the moon with a microphone, and yet he is sitting practically on top of a rocket engine that is putting out sound levels of about 140 or 150 decibels. Now, we know that that is absolutely impossible to overcome that sound level inside the lunar lander with a normal human voice.
Eagle, we got you now. It's looking good, over. Roger, copy. Eagle, Houston, after yaw around, angled S-band pitch, -9er, yaw, +18. Roger, you're a go to continue power descent. You're a go to continue power descent.
Altitude now 21,000 feet, still looking very good. Velocity down now to 1,200 feet per second.
You're looking great to us, Eagle.
Okay, we've changed our graphic picture here in the background, and it's a one-sheet poster that I put together from pictures on the website www.geocities.com/Apollo Reality/. And the gentleman that put this together got actually these images off the Langley Research Center website. And some of these actually you're just seeing for the first time yourself, isn't that right, Bill?
That's right, yeah. I'm amazed to find these pictures. I've never seen any of them before except the one in the upper right. And what amazes me is this one here showing a model of the moon with a camera track, showing how easily it would have been to fake the filming of the moon.
And then the image just to the right of that shows like the finished moon.
Exactly.
With somebody sitting at the controls, maybe turning it or...
Right. These are very revealing pictures, and I strongly recommend people with PCs to download them and study them. And of course, this brings up the subject of the death of whistleblowers. Men like Gus Grissom, who was burned to death along with Chafee and White.
He went pretty open with it, putting a lemon on
yeah, he was going to give an interview about what he really thought about Apollo. And as you say, he hung a lemon on the command capsule on the day that he was murdered. And we should also look at Scott Grissom, his son's evidence that a secret switch was installed in the capsule to ignite the fire that killed Grissom, Chafee, and White. We could go on for quite a while about the death and injury to people that have pursued this Apollo hoax subject very diligently.
They went to a NASA spokesman who was Brian Welch.
Oh yes,
and
right.
They asked him about some of these anomalies.
Right.
You recall what he had, what he said about some of the the things they were
Well,
asking him?
he tried to dispute everything that the Apollo hoax advocates brought out. But the interesting thing is that about a month after he gave this interview, he was dead.
That always kind of puzzled me because he was at least trying to hold on to it, right? So do you think they would have actually killed him just because he didn't do a good enough job? Or?
Yes, I think that's what happened. He didn't do a good enough job. So they killed him as an example to other people who are defending, like Richard Hoagland. Hoagland obviously is a fake, and he's an employee of NASA who on many occasions has tried to discredit me and my associates.
There are much better mysteries that call into question some of the photography, which I agree with you looks frankly hoaxed.
Well, some of it could have been staged and they could have released it, Richard.
Exactly. That's what some of my photographic experts that I've called in over the years, and I've been to Goddard, I've looked at the NSSD film. I mean, I have examples, actual examples, Eric, of NASA airbrushing the moon.
Well, I know this.
And, but you see, I have a different model.
So you're saying they faked some of the photos?
I think they faked some photos. I think they've hidden other things in the photos, and I'll give you my bottom line. I think there is an enormous Apollo conspiracy, but I think we've been sold the wrong conspiracy to keep people like you, bright guys who are asking good questions, looking in the wrong direction, which these people are past masters at doing, because the real conspiracy is not did we go to the moon, it's what did we find on the moon.
I know, there's aliens
they don't
up there.
Want us to know. The real conspiracy is not did we go to the moon, it's what did we find on the moon.
I know, there's aliens
they don't
up there.
Want us to know.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. You remember this video I put up not too long ago talking about Gene Cernan dying at 82 years old, one of the guys that walked on the moon? Pretty much all the guys that walked on the moon died at a pretty ripe old age, we'll call it, right? Well, it seems that NASA kind of forgets stuff like that when they come out with things like this. The AstroRad radiation shield, the new protective vest for deep space travel. See, it comes built in with boobs and all. Because I think they think we're all a bunch of boobs. This is to protect vital organs when people travel through the Van Allen belt, because without them, you'll get fried, correct? Seems like they're forgetting one big vital organ, but, it's NASA. They think that we're all like this young lady right here, or they think we're all just a bunch of boobs. One of the two. But this is funny because it's like they're just pandering to the younger audience that doesn't remember the alleged moon landings, because the AstroRad consists of several layers of non-metallic materials to shield vital organs, and every one will be tailor-made. This product will enable. It won't supplement. It won't help them to return. It will enable human deep space exploration. Do you see what I'm saying? Orion's going to launch in late 2018 as an unmanned mission, but NASA is considering sending 2 astronauts up at the same time, 2 dummy astronauts. During the flight, a dummy will be wearing one of the vests so they can see how radiation would affect a human. The other one won't be wearing a vest so they can see the difference. Well, why didn't they just do testing on all the guys that went to the moon and apparently lived till very ripe old ages, no problem? You see what I mean? It's like they're just going for the younger ones. They're just forgetting about us. And most people are so medicated, vaccinated, and fluoridated, they don't care anyways. But I kind of have a problem with it. This brings me to another thing. While looking this up, I came across this. Why did so many Apollo astronauts die mysterious death in just 3 years' time? And it's pretty funny to read this, not funny for the astronauts, but it seems like an awful lot of NASA astronauts died in a 3-year period, 10 of them to be exact. On the 27th of January, 67, 2 years before the first flight to the moon, Virgil Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee were killed in a devastating fire on the Apollo 1 launch pad during a full-scale simulation. Now, I can't find it, but I believe Grissom was the one that hung a lemon on the space capsule before he got in it. And then, oddly enough, they burn up on the launch pad. But according to this, Grissom was also an outspoken critic of the program. Among his last words before he died, when there was a communication failure with the capsule prior to the fire, "How are we going to get to the moon when we can't communicate between two buildings?" Moments later, the capsule burst into flames with the astronauts sealed inside.
In this film, we shall not only prove beyond all reasonable doubt that many of the official NASA images of lunar exploration are fake, but we shall also examine the motives for the biggest lie put before the world. Why did NASA repeatedly fake lunar images and photographs? Why did NASA stage lunar expeditions which did not happen? The answer will surprise you. NASA spent gigantic sums of money during the 1960s, but most of it was spent on the ground, not in space. Huge American corporations, many of which were manufacturing hardware for the military, made gigantic profits designing space vehicles and, more importantly, life-sized models of spaceships, and even huge stage sets resembling the lunar surface. Someone in NASA had realized that after taking billions of dollars from the American people, if they couldn't make it to the moon, they would fake it to the moon.
Obviously, if you're going to somewhere that nobody has been before, you need to have a simulator which recreates that environment as closely as you can. If you're going to the moon, you recreate the surface of the moon. And here we see a section of the lunar surface created. It's about 30 foot high, 30 foot long, 35 foot long. Scale is given by the two people standing in front of it. There were plenty of simulation exercises, but the point is, and this should be taken into account in virtually everything that is discussed with the Apollo program, 400,000 people may have worked on the program in total, but none of them had a need to know more than his own job required. The people who were making the rockets didn't know what the people who were making the spacesuits were doing, and because they had no need to know about that. Their job was to make the best models and the best simulation of the lunar surface that they could. And if we come up to this picture here, we see the three scales on which these models were built. We have here the whole moon as one unit. It stands about 20 foot high. We have here behind it a section of the surface of the moon. You'll notice it's curved. And here we have a more detailed section of the lunar surface.
What you're saying is that the images which we're told show a camera pointing out the window of the lunar module as it's coming into land on the moon could well have been filmed previously using these large-scale models.
That's right. It could well be that what we are looking at are films of realistic models. We have no means of knowing if they were actually taken on the lunar surface or whether what we're watching is part of the simulation exercise and the training exercise. And you'll notice here on these models there is a camera track, a camera track, a camera track. A camera starting at this end, coming down here, would approach the moon or appear to approach the moon and become ever closer towards it. This is a simulation rig that was built. This is the command and service module of the Apollo program. And you'll notice that the window here looks out onto a block here, and there's another one here. They're curved. These are the screens onto which the lunar surface was projected as the craft made a simulated approach towards the lunar surface.
Is what we're seeing a mixture of fact and fiction?
It is fact, it is fiction. It's mixed together. It's hard to separate them until you examine it closely.
They are hiding God. Despite what labels I put on the flat model structure, the oldest names are from the oldest texts, one of those being called the firmament. If the firmament was indeed discovered in 1956 and it was deliberately hidden, then the ruling authority not only hid the structure, but evidence of the builders. And by builders, I mean creators, and by that, I mean what people define as God. Hiding God could be considered one of the worst ideas of all time. And if you are a person of great or small faith, you have a vested interest in any evidence that would solidify and vindicate your years of dedicated service. If a structure was found that had, for all intents and purposes, the handprint of God on it, then the ruling authority has no right to keep it from you.
August 7th, 2017. Around 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Play a Lord, ain't got shit to do. See if I can zoom in on this motherfucker. Full moon. August 13th, 2017. I started making this video a number of days ago. And I got confused like everybody else. And they was talking about, you know, the moon, the shadow going west to east. And, you know, at first I was like, okay, wait a minute. The moon's going the opposite direction of the earth. You know, I don't know why I waste my time trying to figure these niggas out, knowing they're a bunch of fucking liars. Now, I'm looking up on the internet, and they saying some shit like, well, because the earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, the moon is going in the opposite direction real fast. It's bullshit, that's what it is. Damn! Drive a nigga crazy trying to figure out this stupid shit. Okay, see, I got it wrong. The moon is going in the same direction as the earth, and the earth is spinning, and you know, based on the angle of the moon and the sun, and the sun is different, shadow, the angle. I'm confused. Maybe my nigga at YouTube channel Rap the News can help me explain this shit.
It seems as though every time we look up, they lying to us about something else. Why can't these snaky people tell the truth? So let's get into this big lying cover-up about the 2017 solar eclipse. We all know that the sun and the moon and the planets and the stars all rise in the east and make their way westwards across the sky. So why, if we know that the total solar eclipse in August 2017 will travel across the United States from Oregon, which is the west, to South Carolina, which is the east, if the moon and the sun is traveling in the same direction, then the shadow would go from east to west. Now think, it's traveling backwards. It's traveling backwards. Thus giving a very strong analogy of the sun rising in the west and setting in the east. Let's hear what the Decepticons have to say about it before I get into the truth.
Hi, I'm Sarah Kaplan and I'll be answering for science today. The Earth is spinning this way,
So
and the moon is spinning the same way that the Earth is orbiting, but
I
the
see.
Earth is spinning faster than the moon is orbiting.
Obviously that tramp is lying. Let's darken this picture of a sun halo. And then when we darken it, this is where your truth lies, because there's another light source behind this sun halo. There is a veil, and then there is another light source behind it, which could be God or his kingdom come. Okay, now let's go a little deeper. So I'm going to prove to you that this light source is moving the shadow west to east. So this is a cap, a flashlight, and two pencils holding the cap. The cap is symbolizing the moon, the flashlight is symbolizing the sun, and then it's, see, if we move it in one direction, it moves in the same direction, but watch the shadow. So if we move the light source in another direction, it moves the entire shadow in a whole different direction, because it is a brighter light source that's moving that shadow in a whole different direction. So that is the only way you can explain that truthfully. And that those bullshit, the spinning earth and the spinning planet is bullshit, because they can be both spinning in the same direction and still end up in the same damn place. It doesn't matter if one is spinning faster than the other. They are full of shit. So how the Spirit of God works is that it comes over you and it tells you that they are lying sacks of shit. That's what it tells me. They lying sacks of shit. And basically this is falsehood. And basically this solar eclipse mean way more than what's being said, you know. And it's almost like a miracle, and it's almost like God is showing his hand by saying, look, I'm making this go backwards so that anybody who wants to believe should believe. You shouldn't be listening to science. They retarded. They're a bunch of fucking stupid motherfuckers, and they moronic. Why would I say science, NASA, all of them, they moronic? Because if you got so much goddamn intelligence and you end up in hell, you're the biggest motherfucking trick in show business. You're the biggest trick in show business. I mean, how the hell you got so much intelligence, supposedly? How the hell you supposed to have high IQs and you can't figure out where this goddamn thing is going backwards from? Because we know if you just take a flashlight and a cap and put it and make it go in one direction, if it's supposed to be going east, that shadow is going to follow it east. If you take a cap and then the shadow is going backwards, something is wholly the fuck wrong. And then now we got to look for another light source, because we know that light casts a shadow. It ain't the speed of the goddamn planet. Fucking Decepticons.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, the question is, why does the solar eclipse shadow move from west to east? Well, here's the reason. Here's the Earth.
Yeah.
And it is rotating all the time west to east. We're on the Earth and we rotate around and we see, we're looking at it, this is the North Pole, we're looking straight down. We rotate this way, we see the sun and the moon rise in the east and set in the west because we are moving towards the east, right? Okay.
Where's
the moon? The thing that people don't get about the moon is it's really far away. I can't even draw it far enough
It's
away.
off the table.
It's really, it's it's about 1/4 the size of the Earth, and it's 30 Earth diameters away, so it's really off the table. It's really far away.
All right.
So, this travels once every 24 hours, right? One revolution for 24 hours. The moon goes around the Earth in the same direction every 27 days.
Okay.
So it's moving, you would think, a lot slower because it takes 27 days,
yeah.
And this takes 24 hours. But as it turns out, because this orbit is so big, it's actually 60 times the diameter of the Earth.
Now do you understand?
I was in Mississippi. I was in Mississippi doing a show, and I go to the restaurant to order some food, and I say to the guy, I say, I would like to have, and before I even finish my sentence, he says, the chicken. I said, what the fuck? I could not believe it. Could not believe that shit. This man was absolutely right. I said, how did he know that I was going to get some chicken? I asked him, I said, how you know that? How did you know I was going to get some chicken? He looked at me like I was crazy. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Now, everybody knew as soon as you walked through the goddamn door, you're going to get some chicken. It is no secret down here that blacks and chickens are quite fond of one another.
This is ridiculous.
They should have had a stockpile of chicken for this day.
They should have a tractor trailer out back with extra chicken on ice, you know?
Finally, the moon is going west to east.
These clips I've been showing of my so-called black people and this chicken, I can't help but laugh at the shit. And of course I'm using that shit as an analogy of how most of our black people are more concerned about bullshit. They get upset over bullshit. But it's sad. I mean, it really is sad. My boy Raymond86, who made them videos about the celebrities he's seen in hell. One of the last videos I seen that he made, he talked about seeing an endless number of people falling like rain, just falling like rain on their way to hell. So, you know, it's sad. I mean, it really is. It's sad. But this is how it is. You know, people got caught up in this world and they don't give a damn about nothing that's truly important. So it is what it is, like I always say. Ain't no chicken in hell, niggas. Now that chicken from Family Guy He might be down there. I don't know if y'all can see this shit. But of course, they spraying them fucking chemtrails right in front of the sun. It's around 12 noon. I probably say about 40% of everything you see in the sky is clouds, and the rest of that shit is chemtrails. And of course, they've been spraying that shit pretty much since I woke up this morning. I woke up around 9 a.m. So this great American solar eclipse that they made a big deal out of, for some reason, they don't want the player Lord to see this shit. Look at it, you can see the chemtrail going right in front of the sun. See what I'm saying? Bastards. Bastards. Oh, the great solar eclipse, the solar eclipse. Oh, yeah, I hope you have a nice clear day. How the fuck am I gonna have a nice clear day and y'all spraying the goddamn chemtrails? You dirty bastards. Like Rap the News say, you fucking funky bastards. Ah, shit. Let's see if Alex Jones got any footage of this solar eclipse.
That's all these people got is fuck you. Well, you know what? Fuck you.
You should be able to start seeing stars, and we can actually see 4 planets. This time you should see Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, and Venus all in this night sky during the day. So it's just an amazing, amazing experience. And if you can't see the corona, I do have a map of it here. This is a 3D print that was done for me, and it looks exactly, it's a predict of what the corona looks like today. So if it's cloudy, here's your corona.
Now, it looks like the moment of totality is upon us. Let's just take let the guys at home have a few moments to take in the sights and sounds of the crowd as totality happens on the prairie.
Oh, wow. And you can see the corona, and I may cry, but you can see the corona. So now you're seeing this wonderful hazy atmosphere. I don't need my glasses now, Vince, because we are in totality. Wow. And so this is the only time that it's safe to look. But right now you can see that hazy ring. That is the chromosphere. It is looking a little bit sort of reddish. And you just see there's all those red wisps are little prominences that are coming away from the sun. Wow. Unfortunately, we can't quite see the stars yet because of the clouds. But my goodness, you can see the corona, and that is an absolutely incredible, incredible sight.
Yeah, this is just magnificent.
It really is. Everything's kind of, well, other than the people hooting and hollering here, everything else has gone quiet. The animals think it's nighttime. There's this amazing sort of twilight view all around us. And just look at that corona. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yep, and the moon is going to continue. We've got about 2 minutes, 35 seconds of this amazing view. And then here we come. Here comes the diamond ring. So it is glasses on again time. Glasses on. And here it comes. There's the diamond ring. And that is the most spectacular sight.
That's amazing.
That is just incredible. And of course the diamond ring you see because the moon is not a totally smooth sphere. And so you're seeing little spots of light peeping out between the craters on the moon. And my goodness, I'm sorry, I'm so excited. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's hard to convey the excitement of the energy. There are 10,000 people on the prairie here at the Homestead National Monument of America, and the energy is just amazing.
And they've been here, a lot of them have been here since 6 o'clock this morning, and the atmosphere has been incredible. Everybody is happy, and it has just been amazing.
That's just amazing.
Well, I guess that ends my 2-week investigative journey leading up to the Great American Solar Eclipse. So what did we learn? about all this shit? Well, the earth is flat. NASA sucks. And black people love chicken. What a spectacle. Did y'all see how happy them white people was? I wonder what my black people think about all this.
No chicken.
No chicken? They advertise it on national TV. How you gonna run out of chicken?